Evening, or welcome to Kicking Dust. Now, again, no Flaylocking this time, all right? I get the picture. People hate the Flaylock, so I thought I'd just use a tank instead. Shame I don't have a tank launcher. That might be quite fun, just to fire tanks at people. But right, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about something very specific. And really how to cover this, I think, has always been a bit of a challenge because a lot of you maybe don't play EVE. And let me just give you some background before we go into this topic. EVE is something where basically it is a true sandbox, and I think really CCP, I don't think they've really ever become involved with player disputes, scams, that kind of thing. I think they just kind of accept that that's what enriches the game. So with that in mind, you have to understand that their approach to certainly EVE is that, you know, kind of anything goes. So, you know, for example, I mean, I'm kind of I'm talking from experience a little bit, where I have been, let's say, quote, naughty and scammed people in my 10 years of playing EVE. I've actually done quite a bit of it. And that's probably as far as I go into it. But again, the game allows it, so that's what enriches the experience of the game. Now, with Dust, with the new patch, there's going to come a very understated, under-discussed feature called Send ISK to Other People. So you will actually be able to you'll be able to press a button and transfer your hard-earned ISK to another player, without having to be in the same corporation, without having to go through a director or a CEO. You literally will just be able to say, oh, I want to give that guy some money. Here you go, here's some money. Now, that's obviously a good thing for obviously the ease of the game. It's always a good thing to be able to transfer ISK. But as soon as you enable, let's say, free flow of currency, you all of a sudden then are going to have this pretty major issue of the scammers are going to begin. Now, I don't have an issue with scammers. I actually think if you go in EVE, if you go to Jita, which is kind of like the center of the universe, I guess, that's where thousands of players sit there and try and bullshit other people into giving them money. And it looks very, you know, sometimes you'll fall for it, sometimes you won't. They call themselves ISK doublers. Let's say Dave. We're going to use the example here of Dave. Dave, the ISK doubler, is somebody who has a very good reputation. He probably has lots of posts on the forums, lots of likes. And he will tell you, you know, till he's blue in the face, that this is not a scam. He will even have references from real people, and I'll explain how he does that in a bit. But basically, everything will just seem very credible about Dave. To be honest, it could even be Pyrex. You know, I could be putting myself up here in this role as well. I'm not going to, but I certainly could have done this if I so wished. This is a pyramid scheme. Let me explain how it works. Effectively, what Dave is going to do is he's going to say to people, oh, I'm leaving the game, or I've got money, come invest in me and I'll give you a return. So in this case, let's say he fools 4 people into giving him 1 million ISK. The risk they have, it's only 1 million ISK. It's not big money, it's not crazy, it's a gamble to them. Now, at stage 1 of the pyramid, these guys are guaranteed to make their return because there is no investment. All he's going to do is basically pay each of these out of his own pocket. But again, he will tell these people that he will do deals with districts, he will be doing deals with, you know, maybe some of the big alliances, maybe he'll have, like, you know, Darkstar Army's 2,000 players, maybe there'll be some form of incentive for that group, so that naturally there's going to be an income of funds in some way or another. So therefore he can explain that, oh yeah, it's no scam, I'm going to earn you profit on your money you give me, I will invest it for you. So what he then basically does is he will then say he'll pay back 1.5 million ISK, maybe 2, whatever, but it'll be something nominal to get them going. And he will say in this case, and we've used the example here, that he's basically said, well, I'll you know, in this case, I'll give you 50% of your return back. So he gives them 1.5 million ISK, but that could easily be 2, 3 or 4. And what that then does is it guarantees that those 4 people will immediately firstly reinvest because they've made their money. It also means that they will tell their friends. Dave, the ISK doubler, will do something very clever, where he will basically say to these 4 people, tell your friends, tell your courtmates, this is a legitimate service. The more people that invest, the more money we can make. You know, the more money I've got to work with as an investor, quote, the more money I can make and pay you as investors back. So what happens is each 4 of these people will probably go to their corporation. They'll probably go to, you know, other people. But more importantly, what they will do is they will give validity to his investment plan. what Dave then effectively can do is he can post on the forums 4 people's positive feedbacks, 4 people's vox pops of them saying, yep, I did this service, it worked perfectly, Dave was so polite, so charming, so friendly, he explained everything, it's not a scam, honest, it's not a scam. How can it be a scam? Because no scam has taken place. So basically everybody perpetuates the lie, and the pyramid is then founded. Its foundation is ready to go. Now, again, this usually doesn't happen in stages. Usually what would happen is Dave would literally be doing this in multi-level. So, 4 people may invest and he'll pay back another 4, another 10, another 20 may come on. But at every step, he's kind of, building, let's say, a bit of a mythos around him that this investment is absolutely 100% legit. Just before again, that's stage 1. Before I go on stage 2, let me just be very clear. Jita probably has maybe 1,000 players in it who are looking to do this kind of scam. They usually use the one that is, I'm leaving the game, I hate the game, I don't want to play EVE anymore, I'm sick of it, I've got 400 million ISK to give away, send me the ISK and then I'll send it back to you doubled. And amazingly, people fall for this. And what it is, it's just, unfortunately, it does rely on the stupidity of others. But unfortunately, when it comes to matters of money, most people are not terribly, well, I guess, au fait with with scams. Plus, again, you have to remember that the scam hasn't happened yet. As far as this appears, there is a real kind of pyramid scheme being built. Stage 2, basically in this case, let's say 20 people come back from that original 4. And again, these numbers could be totally different. It could be 100 people to begin with, then 1,000, then 100,000. There's no limit. But in essence, the second stage of the pyramid is that they donate more, because again, he may say to them, okay, this is my references, let's get more people in. These 20 investors, because they've been personally brought to the scheme by friends or by court mates, they also are relatively unlikely to be too cautious. So each of them in this case is going to put up 2 million ISK, and in that then gives 40 million ISK straight into Dave the ISK doubler's pocket. Now what he would likely be doing, and again I'm showing this in sequential order, but what Dave the ISK doubler would be doing at this point is he would actually be then drawing more people in. So any money he gets in, he immediately pays out. In this case, he's paid 3 million back to these group of investors, and that then means even more happy customers. So again, he's building up a massive kind of portfolio of mugs, people who feel that this is, this must be legit. Maybe he's got an inside track here. Maybe he's got, deals with districts. And the common one I imagine Dust is going to be founded on is going to be, oh, I'm part of Kronos, or I'm part of Eon, or I'm part of a big alliance. Don't want to say who, but I've got I make maybe 40 million a day. That's the kind of bullshit that you'll be fed. What that means is that, again, most your average players, they're not again giving huge quantities of ISK here, but again, it's not necessarily about the numbers, it's about the volumes. Okay, so it's not about getting 20 people on the hook. It's it's about, or rather 2 million on the hook. It's about getting 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people who are all thinking to themselves, well, it's only 2 million. They're more likely to gamble with 2 million than they would with a lesser number of people of 20 million. So this is, again, it's a beautifully crafted, scam. And you should be aware this is happening in real life now. The people are going to prison. I think was it Bernie Madoff? I could have got that wrong, completely wrong. But basically, there's a lot of people who are now basically in prison for the rest of their lives because they're doing pyramid schemes. It's illegal in every civilized country to do this because, again, it is just quite frankly fraud. There's no way these people could ever have invested and returned a profit to the whole investment chain. So it really is just about getting more and more people to put more and more money into the pyramid, building it higher and higher, and then you basically have a process or a stage in business called harvest and exit, and this is when pretty much Dave the ISK doubler is working towards. And again, all he'll do is he'll get to that point where he's got enough people in the books, enough people ready to invest perhaps in their final stage, that means he's pretty much ready to go. And what that means is that, you know, by this final stage, he could have gone through this process 3, 4, 5 times and could now have maybe 100 people on the books. So he could now have 100 people, all of which are probably willing to do quite a sizable investment. Because again, he's got such a good track record. He's got enough people believing that he is able to cover these bets. He may not even make it public knowledge how many people he is doing this investment with. Unlikely he will ever let you know that. But again, because of the credentials, because everything looks so credible, people basically invest within it. So by this point, let's say he's got 100 people who all will give 10 million each. That means he's just earned himself 1 billion ISK. And chances are this is then the harvest strategy, the harvest point. And to be quite honest with you, this is when I think most EVE players would pretty much disappear. They would delete the character completely, transfer all the ISK to another character, delete the character, and you'll never even have a single complaint mail about it. In essence, it's all gone. It's all done. It's all dusted and completely closed. Now again, this is the irony here, is that some people will keep pushing the pyramid higher and higher. You could then push to 1,000 people who maybe give, you know, 5 million each. You know what I mean? It just keeps going. Eventually it will get to the point where somebody starts to twig, or somebody maybe senses that this is going to end badly. What generally would happen at that point is, you know, and you know, you're probably going to be, you know, surprised at this, but Dave the ISK doubler disappears, and he's gone. He's taken 1 billion ISK. All of these people are out of pocket, but there'll never be any way to get their ISK back. They could never petition it. You can't petition this stuff because what's there to petition? You gave the ISK willingly. That, you know, again, part of the process of having that button even on your bar is going to be that if you give ISK away, don't ever ask for it back. If you make a mistake and send somebody too much, tough. Okay, so I think this is going to get messy. It's going to get very messy, in fact. Now, again, I did speak with my my corp, and we did a bit of a conversation around, should we do a pyramid scheme, maybe troll some people? But I think the simple fact is, in EVE you could probably get away with it and people would be like, no, you guys. Whereas in Dust, on a console, I think, quite honestly, you know, we'd be followed, we'd be found, and we'd be hung up. So we decided to do the good guy thing. So we're being kind of chaotic good this time, and we're actually going to be so hopefully this video has shown you that no matter what stories they come up with, there is no get rich quick scheme in this game. Investments and, you know, ISK doubling, you know, give me your money and I'll give you double back. It doesn't work. It's all based around a pyramid scheme. Okay, there we go. That's some interesting scam anti-avoidance information. I hope it, at least if it just stops one of you not getting scammed and keep playing the game, then I'm happy. If you do get scammed, let me know, and I'll be interested to know who scammed you, and we'll see what we can do about them. I'm kidding, I don't care. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.